Morning. I'm Bert Cutts. It's Thursday, December 3rd, and it's 38 degrees Fahrenheit outside here in the Midlands of South Carolina in the United States of America. And I wanted to do a quick video to go over details about the decisions and techniques and things that I did to make a greenhouse. And that's the greenhouse. This has been a project in construction for a couple of years because I've taken a few breaks, but it all started with that door. 20 years ago, I acquired it somewhere and decided I would put it in a greenhouse, and 2 weeks ago I finally did, and that felt good. This roof is made with a lattice of bamboo. It's held together with a lot of zip ties. They're ultraviolet resistant. This timber framing is dead wood from my neighbor's yard, and it's done in an Okinawan style. That's lapped together and pinned and tied. And then there's another member that makes a ridge beam. That's oak, and it's gotten some fungus in it, but I think it'll be all right. And then this lattice of bamboo on top of that and glass on top of that. You can tell it's not complete. I've got cardboard in places, but the base of this building is actually rammed earth, 8 inches thick, and it's only like a foot or 18 inches high here along the west and east walls. But over there on the north wall, it's actually waist high or so. Almost waist high for me. I'm 6 feet tall. There's a corner here that's slip formed cement and rocks, just to kind of tie that corner together and make it really strong, because the way that the slip forms were lining up for the rammed earth, that was going to be a weak corner. Right here is a hole, and it has a piece of rock for like a mantle, if you will, and a hearth here made of urbanite that's kind of incomplete. Ultimately, I'll be able to put a piece of glass over this little frame or something, but this will make a little oven. So there's sand in there now. Let's go around to the north side of this structure, and I will show you what's up with that sand. So walking around here, we can see that wood there is from a tree, and this wood here is from a tree. It's a cedar tree that was here, kind of in the way of the construction. We got some straw bales here on the north wall with slate to shed water, and right here is a cob oven. So the sand is just a giant mound inside there. That hole leads into the giant sand mound that's covered with cob. This is all going to be tied together into the thermal mass of this central column going up, so that this building can extract all the heat from a tiny fire in there and put that heat right into the thermal mass of these rammed earth walls and this central column in the north wall. And that way, after I put a little shed roof on here and sort of enclose this fenced area on the north side of the building, that becomes, it basically puts all that thermal mass inside the thermal envelope of this little building. So far, we've had a couple of nights here down in the 20s, and all my banana trees and other little things in here have been fine with just this little space heater running, because I can't fire that oven until it's done. But this has been set on medium and not even turned all the way up, and it just knocks the chill off in here, and you get enough sunlight coming in here and soaking into those walls during the daytime that this thing is working. This is actually working really well. Very encouraging results so far. Let me just show you a little bit of the detail on some of the cob construction here. So this is a shower door, still in its aluminum frame. I built a little wooden frame that was the same size and just used silicone caulk to glue it down. And then it's held in place by bamboo strapped to the wooden frame and to the bamboo lattice of the roof. And then as I do the cob, I just jam it completely in there. So like all these little nooks and crannies in this area, all of this just gonna be filled with cob like this. And once that hardens and dries, man, it just turns this whole deal so rigid. And yeah, these are whiskey bottles. I drank all that, but it took me about 2 years. So, that's what's happening here. So right now there's actually just a lot of straw stuffed into places where eventually there will be cob. But I had to do that because, well, you can't continue with your cob construction in freezing weather. And I wanted my plants to survive. So I had to drop back and punt and just put a bunch of straw in for now. And in these areas that are triangular under the gable ends of the roof, it's just plastic right now, but those will be bottle wall eventually on the north side. And over here on the south side, I'll probably actually just cut some plexiglass and build some little custom frames and then fit it in there with a little bit of cob around the edges. In a lot of places, I've used this kind of thing to keep the cob attached to structure. I'll just put some screws in, and then I use a soft iron wire, twist it around the screws, and I'll literally sort of stitch the building together like that before I come in with the cob. And then when I come in with the cob, it's smashed all into that so that it just grabs on, and it actually seems to work quite well. This whole corner was stitched together using that screws and soft iron wire. And so what looks like a nice hard corner here is literally cob. It was a very soft corner until it set up. And the same thing around here. You don't have to do hard corners with cob, obviously, but this just shows that you can. This is the hole in my backyard where all that clay came from. And it may seem like a pretty small hole for the size of that building, but you gotta consider that the recipe for cob and rammed earth also involves a lot of other aggregate, sand, straw, stuff like that, depending on the mix.